How you ever follow the footsteps of Joe White? Beautiful article with those.
Fantastic.
It really is.
What a good video.
I loved it. It really made me smile.
He escaped.
Yeah. Another one made it over the wall. We should all do so. That's him. There it is.
Right. Fire away when ready.
Kirk, what was the adjustment you guys made from the rough start on the first 2 3-and-outs to the rest of the game?
Among many things, we felt like they stayed in their base defense to some of our different personnel groupings, and it gave us some options with some run pass plays where we could get to the second play, and we got some advantageous looks. But just came down to protecting, making the throws, making the catches, and converting. And it was an imperfect game certainly, but when you have a defense playing at such a high level, it kept us in the game and kept giving us a chance, and then we finally got rolling and made enough plays to pull away.
The touchdown you have late to Vernon is a play that you've made a couple times this year, the ability to make throws on the move, and it seems to be an improved part of your game. Can you take us through that play specifically, and then what generally has been better about you off schedule and outside the pocket this year?
Yeah, so that's just our keeper series, which we've run here with me for many years. I mean, that was my rookie year when I had my first start against Cleveland. We ran that type of play 11 times. I mean, that's always been a play that I've run well, and that's different than just dropping back and then scrambling. I think that the keeper series where I bootleg out has always been something we've done well, I've done well, that I really like and always ask for. It's the drop back game, like the third down, where you run for a first down, that I didn't do as much in the past, and that's. And then the scramble where we were able to move up in the pocket and hit Ryan Grant on a choice route for a big gain on a second or third down. Those are the plays that I think I'm getting better at making versus man coverage, trying to find ways to move in the pocket, avoid a sack, and then still keep the play alive.
Do you think you've gotten better at manipulating to get guys open to moving a defender with your eyes, or finding more of a creative throwing lane? I think there was one to Crowder on a third down, or maybe it was Ryan on a third down in this game, where you're able to actually kind of move defenders around based off of your body position, all those kinds of things.
I don't know. I think each play is its own entity, but there's certainly times where you try to get a quarter safety to get flat-footed so you can throw a post over his head, or if you get in lurk coverage, you're trying to hold the lurker so you can work the choice route in the in-break. There's different things you try to do with your eyes to hold players, but sometimes you just use the rules of the coverage. You say, okay, if it's Jade coverage, I know everybody's going to be, and I'm just going to work off of where I know they got to get to.
One on-schedule play was the touchdown pass to Doctson. When you have a guy that wide open, what is going through your mind?
We had the motion. We put Vernon out wide to the left and got clear man coverage tell and brought Ryan Grant over to run his choice route. And, I really wanted to work Vernon on a safety, but the deep middle safety, 26, really cheated to Vernon's side for whatever reason, and so initially I didn't like that look, and I went over to the choice side to our bunch look, and my read is to alert Josh, and if he gets open, give him the ball, but if he's not wide open, you progress and move on down the read, and obviously they turned him loose. There was a little confusion with their communication with the motion as to who was covering who in man coverage and how they wanted to do it, and we were able to take advantage. We were fortunate there to get that kind of a look.
Has your ability to pick up coverage tells improved progressively through the last 3 years? Has there ever been a point where it jumped year when you came back, the middle of a season?
Yeah, it's a great question because I was asking that of myself when I was at the beginning of 2015. And it still wasn't clicking yet, and I kept waiting. When is it going to click? When is it going to come together? And I remember when we played New England, and I shook Brady's hand after the game. I just said, Tom, when did it start clicking for you? Because I know if you go back and look at his early year stats, it wasn't like he was lighting it up. And I said, when did it start to click for you? And he said, it's still clicking. And his point was that there was never one moment where it suddenly just turned the page and had it all figured out. I think that the accumulation of knowledge, as Bill Walsh said, is a powerful thing. And I think over 3 years my knowledge has just accumulated because I've been able to be out there and gain experience and play. And I now have a lot of games in my bank account, if you will, that I can lean on to use those experiences to help me play better as I go forward.
Change of pace question. I have to ask you about the suit.
Sure.
Is this like a Christmas tradition for you? Talk to me about it.
If we win on Christmas Eve, it certainly will be. There aren't many occasions you can wear this for, and I assume after a win at a press conference, this is about one of the few places this works. So, I really like it. Wanted me to show it off. So. My wife packed it. There was no way I was wearing this if we lost, but we got to win just like last year, so I'd love to wear it, and then I'll go back in the closet for 364 days. So that's the plan. My wife found it. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think the brand is Shinesty, I think is what it's called, but they make some goofy-looking suits. There's one that's Redskins as well, just everywhere on it, and we have that one in the closet, but I haven't found the right setting to pull that one out yet. I had a red sweater that would have fit perfectly with this, but would have been a little too plain. So I thought I'd let the tie show.
Somehow I've won the back to football lottery this week
Yeah,
between
right.
today and Wednesday. Doctson had career high in targets today. Was it just where the coverage was taking you, or did you kind of have in the game plan, no, he's probably going to have a heavy workload, and what did you make of his day?
Yeah, it was where the coverage was taking me because you look at like the bench route early in the game, we're backed up. Really Niles is number one there. I didn't like throwing him off that play action backed up. Went back to my bench route to Josh, and I felt like he was being held. We didn't get the call, but it was incomplete. And then tried to hit him on a post route, which again, we only alert that post route versus quarters coverage. They played quarters coverage. It was there. Try to go over the top. It was incomplete. So you really just go where your reads take you. And we missed a touchdown opportunity where he went over the top on, I believe it was Roby, down in the end zone. I felt like his arm got held, and we had a chance there to maybe get a pass interference or first and goal. Still don't really understand why it wasn't called, but just go where my reads take me. The coverages they were playing at times gave me chances to give him a look, and would have loved to have him come away with 2 or 3 touchdowns with some of the opportunities that we left out there.
Kirk, what do you feel like in these final weeks that you're working towards and accomplishing? Yeah. Is that difficult at all for you, knowing that whatever you're working towards may not be here next year?
So we had a losing season in 2014, and in 15 and 16 we didn't. And we had a chance after leaving LA against the Chargers to win these last 3 games and get to 8-8 and really put an end for 3 straight years to losing seasons around here. And that means a great deal to me, and we're going to be talking about that all week. And that's really where our focus is get to 8-8. It's not 13-3, but it's not a losing season. And I want this brand, this organization to be associated with winning. And when people around the league think about, or fans who support this league think about this organization, I want them to think of winners. And I know 8-8 is not 13-3, but it also isn't 7-9. And I think that's where our focus is right now, is to get to another non-losing season and say now we've strung 3 together in a row, and we can build on that, with some of the talent we have that's been on IR and coming back. So that's really where our focus is.
Kirk, I know there were some successful plays today, but I wanted to ask about one that didn't work out.
Sure.
The snap, I think it was late in the first half, that flew past. Can you tell us, was it low, or was the timing not in sync? And then, if I'm correct, you followed that with some helmet bashing. Yeah. What was the emotion with that?
The emotion was frustration. The ball was I just felt like it was a little low. Just couldn't get to it in time. that was third down there or second down. Felt like we had a chance there to stay on the field and maybe go down the field, get some points, or at least keep the ball out of the possession of the Broncos. And it was just accumulation of missed opportunities throughout the first half that was just unacceptable to me and was frustrating. And I'll be the first one to say I was a big part of it. And this game really will test you and frustrate you. And sometimes it's a good thing to show some emotion. That you like that moment and things like that. People sometimes act like they were surprised to see me do that, but that's really who I am. And getting frustrated sometimes is who I am. I just, sometimes don't show it much. So, I was frustrated, but we found a way in the second half to have a much better half.
Kirk, we know how good your focus is, and you said earlier in the week you've gone through a couple of these seasons now where you don't know if it's your final home game. Did you think about it all today, that it could possibly be your final home game here?
I mean, it crosses your mind, like I've said all along, you have to focus on the present, and certainly your mind does like to wander, but I think as a professional athlete, you have to take pride in being mentally tough and being able to just be present and focus on the here and now and understand that gives you your best chance to have success. So there will be plenty of time to discern all those questions and think about the options come the off season, but right now I've got to focus on winning football games. Fortunately, the last 2 weeks we've got it done at home, and we have a lot to play for against the Giants to try to get to that, to avoid a losing season, and then we can go from there.
Even after the poor start, you ended up with 388 yards offense. Only two teams have had more this year, slightly, the Pats and the Eagles. Is that Jay's play calling, your reading, offensive line blocking better than most would expect them to? How do you get 400 yards on these guys? They were number one.
Yeah, after the first couple possessions, I didn't know if we were going to get 100 yards on them. And it just goes to show you have to just keep playing. And, again, defense keeps giving you the ball back, gets turnovers. That certainly helps your offensive stats too. But, yeah, I don't believe there were really any sacks today. I think you could call the missed snap a sack, but it really wasn't a drop-back sack. And, you got to get rid of the ball quickly to do that, but the O-line has to protect. And the play calling was really good all day long. Jay did a good job looking at their substitutions, who they had on the field, how to attack that, giving me some, multiple play calls in the huddle where I could get to the better option based on their defensive alignment. And we got into some optimum plays as a result. So I would say it was all around a great effort, but I certainly enjoyed the game plan adjustments by Coach Gruden and the staff as we went through the game. Made a big difference.
Kirk, two parts, and the first, they have nothing to do with each other. But does that bootleg play-action series go back to Shanahan? Does he like to run it with Plummer and Elway? And
Correct,
I assume he sort of introduced it to you when you were a rookie. The second part, you said to build on the brand, the organization. It seems like there's something that might be unfulfilled for you and what you want to accomplish here.
I mean, who knows? We're going to see how this whole thing goes. My job was to play 16 football games this season, and then that was when the ball was in my court, and I still got another game to play, and that's where my focus is. And then when the season's over, we'll go from there. But right now the ball's in my court, and I've got to play football well and do the best I can.
Thanks, Kurt.
All right, thank you.